All right, so we're here right now. Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, or wherever you may be located, time zone wise. Welcome to the Chronicles chat. I'm Kevin Sullivan, and very excited to introduce our first guest, Sherman Milton III. So we can't forget the third. That's very important. Also known as hashtag realtor Sherm. So very excited to have you today. Thank you so much for taking the time. And yeah, man, this is going to be great.
Appreciate it, Kevin. Thanks for having me. I'm excited. You told me this was your first episode, so I'm glad you thought of me to allow me to be your first guest. So let's rock it out, man.
So let's learn a little bit about you first, so we can kind of give the guests some context, or rather the audience some context about you, so we can go in. Obviously, it's asking me about real estate, so I think it would be remiss if we didn't talk about real estate today. But so you're a Dade City native. Tell everybody where Dade City is, because I'm sure a lot of people don't know.
Sweet, sweet. Yes. So I'm actually from Dade City, but grew up north of Dade City in a little town called Lacucci. So Dade City, we're not in Miami, we're not in South Florida. We're 45 minutes north of Tampa, and that's Dade City.
Okay, yeah. So, and we both went to St. Leo there, which is how we met. St. Leo University. Go Lions.
Yes, Kevin, do you remember our first class together? Okay, it was Professor Evans' business class, like intro to business or something.
I'll be honest with you. College is a blur, man. I remember Friday and Saturday night. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, it was. I think I remember it, man. It was. We had a good, because you were a marketing major, and I was a business management major. So we crossed paths quite a bit. And then I was in student government, and you were in student government, and we just started. But we didn't really hang out that much until after we graduated school.
No, honestly, like the first time I really hung out with you was my senior year. I went to YRB. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, yo, this is a cool group of kids. Like, how come I've never really hung out with them?
One of the sorority formals back in the day. That's funny, man. So you finished St. Leo. You got your undergrad there, and then did you also do your master's there?
Correct.
Too?
No. So I just did my undergrad there at Leo. Graduated with you 2013. Really wasn't me either. Quit that job. Couldn't get a new job in South Florida because I wasn't bilingual. So then what happened? I moved back to good old Dade City. Came back to Dade City, and then I was doing a lot of traveling. Kind of ran out of money, to be quite honest. And then I got into real estate on accident. Let's see, my 5th year is coming up in April.
No way, it's been 5 years. I didn't know it's been that long. I knew it. I knew you'd been at it for a while, but I didn't. Geez, man, that's awesome. So 5 years, and that's why I wanted to bring you on today to talk about real estate. Kind of to be more specific, kind of the first-time home buyer experience. I know with us being a little younger, you actually just helped me buy my first home, which is very exciting. I'm sure I wasn't the easiest client, but I kind of went in and, I knew what I wanted, which is probably a little foreign, I guess, to most of your clients, as far as they probably are a little more, maybe this is the area I want to be in. But, then again, we switched it up too, and you pivoted beautifully. So, kind of start out with, it's crazy out there. We see the news, but what does the real estate market look like today? Can you kind of give us some background? Is it a good time to buy? Is it a good time to sell? I mean, what's going on?
Both, yes and yes. So it's right now, it's a good time to sell because price points are high. I'd say over this last year, home values have definitely been increasing. So folks have more equity in their home. So it's a great time to sell, but it's also a great time to buy because of interest rates. Interest rates are dirt cheap right now. It's so cheap to buy a house. It's essentially you're paying, your mortgage is going to be less than your rent, especially here in the Tampa Bay market, because as we've seen, rents are increasing. So you can get a mortgage and your interest rate is 3%. I've even done some deals recently a little lower than 3%, but I'd say 3% has been average lately.
Okay, so mortgage rates are low, so it's a good time to sell. And then as far as so I hear inventory is low as well. So
Yes.
that's definitely a driver to I guess sell your home also, right?
Of course, because it's such a demand for new homes right now. Honestly, so I'm under contract on a property right now that in this community in Dade City, I knew the agent before it even hit the market. I hit her up, was like, hey, what do we need to do to get this done? Because I knew if that house would have hit the market, we would have been competing with multiple offers, and it just would have been more difficult to get my buyer that house that he absolutely loved once he saw it. So right now, yes, inventory is low, and as soon as something goes on the market, it's pending within 1 to 2 days, if not that same day, if they get a great offer.
Okay. And then, so, tell me, I know there's a lot, and what you're talking about, there was a lot of different things you were talking about as, I knew it kind of almost came across to me like based on your experience, you knew what to do to get the best deal for your client or get them their dream home. So you see a lot of things with like Zillow buying houses or this, low commission, no realtor. Like, could you kind of tell everybody why it's so important to have a realtor or a broker involved in your transaction?
Hey, Kevin, it broke up a little bit, but I think you asked why is it so important to have a realtor represent them?
Yeah, because I mean, with we see like the Zillow, like buy your home, and we'll do, So what when they bring somebody like you on, what's the why is that so important? And you can kind of talk about it, I guess, from the both the buyer and the seller side.
Gotcha. So yeah, it's definitely important to hire a realtor to help you, whether you're purchasing or selling your house. Yes, there are digital platforms, we call them iBuyer platforms, that can help you do the transaction, but you hire me because you want me, A, for my local knowledge, you want me as a person. I'm going to manage the entire transaction from beginning to end. And no one knows, like, there's no algorithm that Zillow has that knows Dade City like I know Dade City. I can tell you, these different pockets of Dade City and why your house is worth more than what Zillow is telling you it's worth, just because of the location. Zillow doesn't know about, let's see, Dade City, there's some older homes that got cloth wiring. It's just those small things that they don't know and they don't understand.
Yeah, geez, I mean, my folks are out there. I had no idea. So I mean, you're just telling me that right now.
Yeah, it is. So it's good on both sides, and you also want, and especially buying. So when you're buying a home, you're not paying the agent to represent you. The seller is paying the agent for them to represent you,
Okay,
and
yeah,
our
yeah, of
job
course.
is essentially to facilitate that transaction from beginning to end. Like, I schedule inspections. I'm there at inspections. I help find insurance quotes. I help negotiate any repairs. I write that contract. We do a lot as a realtor. We're also, we're your counselor. We're sometimes your financial advisor, just because there's so much that goes into a real estate transaction. We don't just pick out a house and sell it to you. There's a lot of moving parts that we manage. Like, we're project manager as well.
Yeah, and so one of the big things I always see you post about too is like when you're, and I think, if we can kind of simplify it, even, with the buying side, obviously you want somebody with the local knowledge that has relationships with local realtors. So when a deal needs to be get done or negotiated, because there's nobody on the other side with, these iBuyers, I guess you call them, it's just, take it or leave it price. So, sometimes you're only $1,000 away or $2,000 away on getting a deal done, and you can't communicate that with an iBuyer because they don't care. Whereas with an agent, another agent, you can kind of communicate that and see if you can get a deal done or come together. So I think that side's super important. The other thing is, with the selling side, I know you always talk about photos and how important photos, and I'm sure staging is important and all those different things. And I'm sure you, which is huge, go through. You were talking about inspections, go through and figure out. I think we froze. 1 second. We'll let that unfreeze.
Hey, Kevin, are you there?
Okay, we're there. Yep. What we
All
on
right. So
it's episode 1.
I heard you say about the photos and how it's important, and that's where we cut off at.
Yeah. So episode 1, we're going to have some technical difficulties. So I appreciate everyone's patience. But yeah, so I was talking about how important photos were because of I imagine you go through these homes too before photos are even taken or before it's even listed, and be like, hey, listen, a roof's looking a little bad. You may want to think about this. Or, hey, this, you were going to repaint the bathroom. I wouldn't, paint it, bright red, little things like that, really add value early on. So you don't, a seller doesn't go through a period of 3 months and it was over something dumb because everybody hated the color of the bathroom.
Exactly. Yes, that's definitely important. I always do a walkthrough prior to listing the house, to see what needs to be done, whether it's small cosmetic things or just like you say, hey, this roof's a hot mess. Your roof's in good shape, so let's get a company out here to clean your roof so it presents itself better. I've also sent my cleaning crew in. I was like, yo, you need some help cleaning this house. We're gonna do a deep clean. Shameless plug. I own two maids and a mop of Pasco County, so
Of
I mean
course.
I send my team in from time to time to some of my listings because I'm like, hey, this house needs a little extra love. Can we bring it back to life? And that's a lot of the different things that we can do that a lot of these iBuyer platforms can't necessarily do as easy as we can.
So it's those personal touches. I mean, that's
Yeah.
huge. And it's something, I think people, we're in this time now, and especially, the younger generation, where it's, this internet and easy, convenience. And I think, in the end, it sounds like it's going to cost you a lot of money if you just want to do it, quick and simple. You put a little bit of work into it, or allow you to put in the work, it's going to benefit them in the long run. So